Good morning, dear children. Today we are going to take the scholarship jacket by Martha Salinas. The small Texas school that I went to had a tradition carried out every year during the 8th grade graduation. A beautiful gold and green jacket was awarded to the class valedictorian, the student who had maintained the highest grades for 8 years. The scholarship jacket had a big gold S on the left front side and your name written in gold letters on the pocket. So, where was Martha Salinas studying? She was studying in small Texas school. And what was the tradition carried out every year in that school? They were awarding a beautiful gold and green jacket to the class valedictorian. Who is a valedictorian? The student who had maintained the highest grades for some years, here 8 years. So the scholarship jacket had a big gold S on the left front side and your name written in gold letters on the pocket. S would be for scholar. My oldest sister Rosie had won the jacket a few years back and I fully expected to also. I was 14 and in the 8th grade. I had been a straight A student since the first grade and this last year had looked forward very much to owning that jacket. My father was a farm laborer who couldn't earn enough money to feed 8 children. So when I was 6, I was given to my grandparents to raise. So this scholarship jacket was won by her oldest sister Rosie years back. So that was the motivation for her. And this year she expected to get it. That time she was 14 years of age and she was in 8th grade. And these 8 years she was getting a grade in all the subject and her father was a farmer and he was a poor person. He had no money to feed all the 8 children. So when Martha was 6 years she was given to her grandparents to raise up. We couldn't participate in sports at school because there were registration fees, uniform costs, trips out of town. So even though our family was quite agile and athletic, there would never be a school sports jacket for us. This one, the scholarship jacket, was our only chance. Even though their family members were quite agile, agile means able to move quickly. So they were very active, but they couldn't participate in sports in schools. Why? Because they had to pay money for registration fees, uniform cost, and trips out of town. So normally the parents would not allow them to participate in sports competition. So that was the one and only chance for them to get a scholarship jacket. In May, close to the graduation, spring fever had struck as usual with a vengeance. No one paid any attention in class. Instead, we stared out of the windows and at each other, wanting to speed up the last few weeks of school. I despaired every time I looked in the mirror, pencil thin, not a curve anywhere. I was called Beanpole and String Bean, and I knew that's what I looked like. That really wasn't much for a 14-year-old to work with, I thought, as I absent-mindedly wandered from my history class to the gym. Another hour of sweating in basketball and displaying my toothpick legs was coming up. Then I remembered my PE shorts were still in a bag under my desk where I had forgotten them. I had to walk all the way back and get them back. Coach Thompson was a real bear if someone wasn't dressed for PE. She had said I was a good forward and even tried to talk Grandma into letting me join the team once. Of course, Grandma said no. So that time was May, and a spring fever had struck as usual with a vengeance. With a vengeance means to a greater degree. Everyone was getting fever. But no students were giving any attention in the class. Instead, they wanted to get their class be finished. And whenever she was looking, Martha was looking at the mirror, she became despair. She lost her hope because she was a very thin girl, like a bean or pencil, not a curve at anywhere. So that is why her friends gave her two nicknames, Beanpole and String Bean. And that time she wanted to go to the gym next time for a PE period and she wanted to play the basketball. Actually, when she reached at the gym, she just remembered that she had forgotten to take her PE shorts. She kept it there under the desk in a bag. And her coach was Thompson. She would be so angry if someone wasn't dressed for PE. And Coach Thompson could understand that she had a very good caliber to become a sports man. But when she told about this grandma didn't allow her to participate in sports because, as we told that. They were so poor. They did not have any money to pay for registration fees, uniform cost, and trips outside town. I was almost back at my classroom door when I heard voices raised in anger as if in some sort of argument. I stopped. I didn't mean to eavesdrop. I just hesitated, not knowing what to do. I needed those thoughts and I was going to be late, but I didn't want to interrupt an argument between my teachers. I recognized the voices. Mr. Shumit, my history teacher, and Mr. Bone, my maths teacher. They seemed to be arguing about me. I couldn't believe it. I still remember the feeling of shock that rooted me flat against the wall as if I were trying to blend in with the graffiti written there. So she was almost about to reach a classroom. And she was about to reach the classroom, she heard an argument from the classroom, and she could understand that it was an argument between her two teachers, Mr. Shumit, her history teacher, and Mr. Bone, her math teacher. Actually, she didn't want to eavesdrop it. What do you mean by eavesdrop? Hearing a conversation very secretly. But she didn't want to interrupt that argument. So when she heard that argument, she felt that she was just flat against the wall as if she were trying to blend in with the graffiti written there. What do you mean by graffiti writing on the wall? Because she was shocked. So such a news she heard at that time. I refuse to do it. I don't care who her father is. Her grades don't even begin to compare to Martha's. I won't lie or falsify records. Martha has a straight A plus average and you know it. That was Mr. Shumit and he sounded very angry. Mr. Bone's voice sounded calm and quiet. Look, John's father is not only on the board, he owns the only store in town. We could say it was a close tie and so what were they arguing? Mr. Shumit was saying that he refused to correct Martha's records. He was not ready to falsify her records because Martha was a straight A plus student and this year actually she deserves that scholarship jacket. He was very angry. Mr. Shumit was very angry. But Mr. Boone was very calm and quiet. He was saying to Mr. Shumit to correct Martha's record marks because he was saying the reason John's father was not only on a member of the board but also he owns a one and only store in town. So they could say that there was such a close tie in between the marks of Martha and Joan. But Mr. Shumit was not at all ready to correct her records.